Ever wondered how life really was in the grandeur of ancient Rome, beyond the marble and gold? Picture walking down the bustling streets, where the opulence of the wealthy lived side by side with the destitution of the poor. The grand villas of the rich, with their sprawling gardens and luxurious baths, were a stark contrast to the cramped, squalid tenements where the less fortunate resided. Food, a reflection of this divide, ranged from sumptuous feasts of peacock and ostrich for the affluent to a humble diet of bread, olives, and occasionally meat for the poor. And let's not even start on the sanitation or lack thereof. Open sewers ran through the city, a stench-filled testament to Rome's grimy underbelly. Despite its power and influence, ancient Rome was a city of contrasts, a city where elegance and squalor coexisted. Turns out the glory of Rome was not all that glorious. Did you know that the famed Roman entertainment had a sinister side? The gladiatorial games that the Romans so loved were not all about bravery and honor. More often than not, these were brutal spectacles, where slaves, prisoners of war, and criminals were pitted against each other in a fight to the death. The Colosseum, a marvel of architecture, was essentially a stage for these macabre performances. Imagine this: the roar of the crowd, the clash of weapons, and the sight of men battling not just for victory, but for survival. The Romans were fascinated by this violence, this dance with death. It was more than just a spectacle. It was a form of public control. The games were a way for the Romans to demonstrate their power, to keep the masses in check by showing them the brutal consequences of disobedience. Beneath the spectacle, the Roman games were a bloody and ruthless affair. What if I told you that the elegant Roman toga concealed more than it revealed? The toga, an iconic symbol of ancient Rome, was more than just a fashion statement. Within its folds lurked secrets that would make even the most scandalous tabloid headlines pale in comparison. Consider this: the Roman elites were known for their excessive indulgence in sexual exploits. The toga parties were not just social gatherings, but a hive of debauchery. This was a culture that tolerated and even encouraged sexual exploitation, creating a power dynamic that was often misused by the powerful. Moreover, these practices were not just confined to the private sphere. The politics of sex played a significant role in Roman society. It influenced alliances, rivalries, and even policy decisions. The social dynamics of Rome were deeply intertwined with these clandestine activities, shaping its history in ways we can only begin to imagine. Behind the draped togas, there was a world of scandal and intrigue. Were Roman emperors as virtuous and dignified as history paints them? Hardly. The chronicles of Rome are sullied with tales of emperors whose actions were far from noble. Take Nero, for example. His reign was marred by madness, cruelty, and a fondness for the theatrical. He even ordered the execution of his own mother, and is said to have fiddled while Rome burned. Then there was Caligula, whose name has become synonymous with excessive indulgence and outright insanity. He was known for his extravagant feasts, spending sprees, and even reportedly made his horse a senator. These emperors, along with others, manipulated the political system to their advantage, eliminating rivals and instilling fear to maintain power. They engaged in corruption, bribery, and nepotism, twisting the machinery of the state to serve their personal whims and desires. So were they virtuous and dignified? The answer is clear. The emperors of Rome were far from the noble figures we might imagine. So, what does all this reveal about ancient Rome? Well, it paints a picture that is as fascinating as it is unsettling. The grandeur and majesty of Rome, often lauded in history, is but one facet of the story. The other side reveals a city steeped in darkness and secrets. The opulence of the forgotten city, the shocking reality of entertainment, the scandalous tales hidden beneath the togas, and the clandestine actions of the emperors, all these elements come together to form a vivid tableau of Roman life. Yet it's not just about the secrets and the filth. It's about the human condition, about power, about the lengths people will go to maintain their status quo. It's about the dichotomy between appearances and reality, between what's shown and what's hidden. Just like any civilization, ancient Rome had its glory and its filth. It's a stark reminder that history is often more complex than it seems at first glance.